Hello everyone. Good evening, good morning, or good afternoon whenever you're watching this video. I am Valdestot and today I'm going to talk about all of our vlogs that we did combined into how we did, how many miles we drove, and how much we made on one tank of gas in 5 days. We have never, ever, ever made one tank of gas last this long. We normally have to gas up every like third day, but we stretched it to 5 days. And we wanted to find out if we made about the same amount of money as compared to, a full 6 day, 2.5 full tank, or 2 to 2.5 full tank a week, fill up. So the verdict is in. Everyone's been waiting for the results, and here they are. Things to note. We started this off as an experiment to show you how much a driver could make if you cherry picked based off mileage in your own car, not a rental car. Like before, we used a rental car, but we didn't care about mileage, we just cared about pay. This time we used our own car and tried to stretch our gas, a full tank of gas, in a 5 day week. At least 4+ days. We actually got to 5 and it was scary at the end. But yeah, here we go. Okay, so the rules, personal rules we had. We never accepted an offer of any amount if it went over 3.5 miles one way. Any amount meaning if it was a $12 6 mile offer, we didn't do it. No. We did not care about the actual offer amounts. We cared about mileage. We wanted to see if we made similar money only accepting offers that were like $5 and above. Okay, and the no low tip, no BS offers were always rejected, of course. And this time, because we usually solo apped in the past, we dual apped using Doordash and Grubhub. So it had to be 3.5 miles one way, no further. We accepted offers from both platforms at the same time only if each offer were going in the same direction and never waiting in restaurants over 3 minutes. So these types of orders were rejected continually, constantly, whatever you want to call it. And boy, did my wife have to hit the ban hammer continually on the high volume days. I mean, she was literally using both hands, tapping on those phones when the orders were coming in during the lunch rush. So anyway, see the mileages, $4, that's under 5 for 3.1, so reject. $3 over 7 miles, that's a double reject because both didn't qualify on the the mileage or the pay. 525 for 10.2, automatic reject right there. 850 for 18.3, yeah, middle finger to that one. And those are the DoorDash examples. Grubhub, the Snack Shack for 12.28, but that was going well past 3.5 miles, so nope. And the Huddle House for 9.77, that was way over 3.5 miles. And these are all one-way miles. Remember, from where we are to the restaurant to the customer, and then you have to at least add mileage back, which would have doubled the effective miles in some cases, right? So these types were accepted. Okay, so you saw the 5.3 miles. That kind of tells a different story because if we were to just to take the one offer, okay, going a straight shot down to there would have been 3.5 miles. Does that make sense? But because we had to take two offers, that was a condition we kind of bended on. If we would have had a straight shot from the restaurant to the customer, that would have been less than 3.5 miles. But because it was a double offer and the pay was so good, we said, F it, we're going to do it. Okay? So double offers have a little more leniency based on pay. But as you can see, it was almost a 3-to-1 on the distance to pay ratio. The Shangri-La, easy, 2.1 miles, 7, okay? Here's one that was on the upper edges of the 3.5 miles. That's a golden egg, and it was roughly around 3.8 miles. But who's going to turn down a $35 order for going a little over the mileage? Okay. Also, the Tai Chi was realistically about 2.5 miles from the restaurant. So of course, we took that. Now, let's go over the numbers here because that's what everyone wants to know. So was it worth it? Was it worth mileage cherry picking? And the numbers tell the story. Okay, so I made a spreadsheet, and if you look on the left columns, it's broken down into the days, which is day 1, 2, 3, 4, the days, miles per day, time, hours worked, right, per day, pay per day, and deliveries, total number of deliveries, right, per day, and the totals at the end in column G. Our starting miles were 163,496 miles. Ending miles was 163,781. So the total miles we drove was 285 miles, which is what we had in our videos from our vlogs, okay? You can watch the vlogs real quick. They're like under 2 minutes typically, right? So each. So, and we had one instance where my younger son, we had to take him to work because he worked third shift, and we removed 9 miles for personal use on that because we had to take him to work and pick him back up. So it was 4.5 each way for each instance, right? 4.5 round trip for each instance. Tongue-tied, sorry, it's been a late day. All right, and under that is $1 per mile, $1 per mile, $1 per delivery, miles per delivery, etc., etc., etc. So if you look, our miles kind of increased by the end of the week. Why? Because our market opened up, mask requirements were lifted, and it were nicer days in my area on Fridays and Saturdays, so we had less offers, more crappy offers, less better offers, or less volume velocity in general. So we had to work a little longer to kind of hit close to our goals, right? And as you can see, the best day was on a Tuesday, and the worst day was on a Wednesday and a Friday, right? So we drove 276 miles, worked 20.75 hours. Pay was $564, 66 total deliveries. So the dollar per hour, I'm not going to go through every day, you can look at it yourself. The cumulative dollar per hour was $27.18, well above the $18 to $25 that our cost of living is. And that is based off of, obviously, single app numbers. If you were to do Doordash, in 1 hour in my market, you would average out $18 to $25 per hour. But if you multi-app, you're rejecting a heck of a lot more, and you can pick and choose the orders that are better than from one another on each app, right? So $27.18 per hour, over $2 a mile, $8.55 average per delivery, and 4.18 miles per delivery. But that figure are round trip miles. And they also include the miles to and from my house, which average 6 to 7 miles each way. So I'm including my miles. I'm not using the federal guidelines. This is just for cherry picking mileage, example purposes, right? So you guys know that, hey, I'm actually driving less miles on delivery, but I'm including my home to and from in these miles. So the initial gas cost was 25 bucks, as I showed on the day one video. And I didn't need to add a couple of bucks because I got the miles down to the 2 bars from when I started, when I actually did the day one video. So I'm just going to leave it at the $25 initial gas cost. So the total profit, excluding the car's depreciation, maintenance, taxes, and insurance, this is just how much we made between Doordash and Grubhub combined, which was $539.05, because it's $564.05 minus the $25, which became $535.05. Not terrible for working only 20 hours, roughly almost 21 hours. Now, the maximum miles driven per order one way we set at 3.5 miles, as I said before. Round trip miles from home start to home finish is included in this challenge of 13 miles. But if you remove the 13 miles and only include just the delivery miles, the true delivery only miles was only 211 miles in 5 days. And that's using the federal guidelines of only using delivery miles, not to and from the work, right? 211 in 5 days. That to me is a win. I mean, I really wish I had just enough gas, maybe about between an eighth and a quarter tank, because I might have been able to stretch that about 40 more miles, and I might have been able to use it for tomorrow, working about maybe 3 hours on that. Then I could have said that I worked a full week, and the hours probably would have been about maybe 23 to 24 hours. Probably would have made over $600 at least, right? So yeah, it is, in my opinion, worth cherry picking. So here are the results. As you can see on our earnings, the one on the Doordash on the left is my app. The one on the middle is my wife's app, because it was so slow on Friday. We just wanted to see if she toggled on, if she'd get any better offers. It didn't get any better. And the Grubhub is my wife's app. So if you add all that up, that was the figures that I told you about earlier. Okay? So my thoughts on this. For those of you that want to control your mileage and expenses, it is well worth doing, or attempting to do. Experiment. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just telling you how we did it and if it was worth it for us, and it was. The downside is that you will waste a lot of time rejecting offers. And remember, I said this before in other videos. Time is money. Okay? But your expenses are money going down the drain as well. Higher gas prices, and the more further you drive, the more gas you're going to need, and your car is going to basically wear out quicker. You're going to need to replace your tires and do more maintenance on it. So that is something everyone has to remember, okay? And remember, these apps only give you a maximum of your cost of living wages per hour based on your market. Mine is, as I said, always, all the time on my videos, $18 to $25 per hour in my market. So, and that depends on order volume. If it's busier, average, slower, it can go up or down. But on average, it's that sweet spot, 18 to 25. So in my opinion, if I can make at least $20 plus per hour driving less than 5 to 6 miles round trip, I will gladly reject any offers, even if it is over $10 or more, based on these results. So remember, I am also in a market that is more spread out. And if you leave downtown, it becomes more rural in places. Also, I have mountains to the west and north of downtown. Your topography, city's infrastructure, and layout of your respective areas matters. And if you try my method, your results may vary. I know that in certain markets, like in Miami, they have a grid-like pattern. I know that LA does the same thing, and I know a lot of suburbs are kind of self-contained, so that your zones or markets, regions may be smaller than mine. So you may not have a problem with mileage like we do here in my market. But for those people, you don't have to really worry about, I guess, mileage cherry picking, unless you really just want to take the high dollar amounts and not care about mileage, right? So, I mean, but we're all different. I'm not telling you to do it any one way. I'm just telling you my results from the tests I've done in my market, all right? So, as I said before, your results may vary, okay? If you try my method, it doesn't add up, it may vary. You also have to consider your order velocity, okay? We dual apped because in our market, it is harder to make money or get decent low mileage average pay offers in off-peak hours. Anything before or after breakfast, lunch, dinner, right? So we work 11-ish, right? 10:45 to 11, all the way to about 3:30, right? So you got to remember, after 1:30, it becomes really slow and the orders start sucking hard in my market. In other cities or areas, you guys may be busy all the time, okay? But I'm just telling you that you have to consider the order velocity and the types of region and orders you get. We dual lapped because in our market, it's harder, right? As I said earlier, to get decent low mileage average pay offers in off-peak hours. Everything is market dependent. And I said it before and I'll say it again. The figures I give are for my market. These numbers are good for us, but may stink for higher cost of living areas where you may have to adjust these offer amounts to 1.5 to 2 times our amounts to hit your cost of living minimums. So instead of $18 to $25 per hour cost of living in my market, you may need $30 to $40 an hour cost of living, right? You have to adjust it and take it with a grain of salt. In closing, all I can do is tell you our story of how we made our money in our market for this challenge. Adjust the numbers depending on your market to see if you can reduce expenses, gas being the major one, by reducing your mileage while keeping your pay where it was when you were driving farther distances for the higher pay offers. So pretty much if you made $1,000 driving 600 miles, right? And you were taking a lot of the double-digit longer distance offers, you can try to go down on your mileage and cherry pick based on the mileage offers and see where it gets you in your pay if you do that. Remember, your car is the most important thing you have being an independent contractor driver. It is. If you don't care about it, the gig apps definitely sure as hell won't, because, or else they wouldn't keep sending us $3 offers to go over 10 miles. Okay? You are your own boss. Act like a business owner. Treat everything you own as it was the most precious thing to you, because if you don't, no one else is gonna. And these gig apps could give a damn about our cars, our gas costs, our mileage, our expenses. All they care about is their service fees. And the only way they get that is to keep pumping out offers that we're constantly rejecting over 70% of the time so that they can make money. That's it. Use them. Don't let them use you. Be smart about accepting your offers. So, if you found this video helpful, consider liking and subscribing so I can continue to provide content that is designed to help drivers like you increase your pay while decreasing your expenses by working smarter and not harder. Also, all public subscribers are entered into a weekly drawing held every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. All you have to do is become a public subscriber, click on the link in the description, and post at least one comment on any video during that contest week. And all you do to be a public subscriber, it's really simple. In that video, it takes maybe 20 seconds to do if you follow the instructions. All right, folks.